everyone, welcome back to another episode of Chanel in the City. I am your host, Chanel Omari, and I'm here at one of the most iconic hair salons and spa treatments all over the world on Long Island. It's called NUBEST Salon and Spa. It's one of my favorites, and I'm welcoming my dear friends who have helped me evolve my look that you guys all love so much. Please welcome Jamie and Christian. Jamie is the art director, and Christian is the hair color director. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
How are you?
Good, great.
Which is so cool that we're here. I want to talk about NUBEST being iconic, because that's the right word for it. Okay. You've been here for 47 years, which is crazy because most salons, we were talking about this, don't last for more than 3 to 5 years. Talk to us about the history and how you guys got involved, and how did you make NUBEST?
Well, it was originally started in 1973 by my father, Michael Mazzi, who obviously had a vision and a passion to do something that had never been done before at that time. So, you know, he originally started out with a chain of salons, about 5 or 6 salons, and what he felt was that it would be better if we can have one big salon with a full-service salon as opposed to spreading it out over many different salons. And he also envisioned it, again, as a very large salon, a one-stop shop, which at the time really was unheard of, right? They were all small little salons.
It's still unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, even if there were single salons, even if you didn't own a few salons, I mean, they were smaller. So he had this vision, and he put it to the test, and it's evolved into what it is today. You know, Christian and I came into the business in the late '80s, and you know, we worked under.
Hard to believe.
Yeah, I know.
That I'm 25.
I know, right? But it's also what I love about it too. So you guys also are family. You're cousins. Your first cousins. I like that it's a family business. You guys are really talented. Christian, you also head the color department. How did you always work with your family? Did you guys always work together, or you guys kind of did you know, okay, my father's, you know, owned the salon. I was around hair and makeup and glam my whole life. This is what I want to do for my life.
Well, let me say this. We, even though we grew up in the beauty industry, there was never any underlining pressure.
Great. Wow.
And I think that that's something that's a big, you know, preconceived notion that, oh, you know, your family's in the business, so you, of course, went into the business.
Right.
That was never the thing with us. You know, there was no one saying to us, oh, you know, so we're grooming you to become a hair stylist or a colorist. It was basically on our own choice. You know, like Jamie's father, my uncle, he was very passionate, always spoke about the business very passionately. You know, it is still very much his life and was always his life. He eats, slept, and drank hair. So, you know, you couldn't help but get, you know, something from that, like some type of, like it was inspiration, it was contagious. And, you know, you really wanted to be part of this thing that is NUBEST.
And what I love about NUBEST, you know, I've been coming here since I was a kid. I have a lot of friends that I grew up with that are influencers and celebrities who come here all the time. It's their go-to salon. But I love it that it's not just a salon. It's a spa. It's a one-stop shop. You don't have to think about, I got to get my nails done at this location and I got to get my hair done at this. The other thing I love about it is you guys are actual stylists and experts. Not every salon, you can be a hairdresser, but there's a difference. Is there a difference, maybe I should ask, between a hairdresser and a brand? Which, right, NUBEST has become a brand with experts and stylists.
Yes.
Well, you know, we put a lot of time and effort into training, you know, so we're always looking for the new kids coming out of school. And the reason why we do that is because we have such an extensive training program. So anybody that comes to work here will start out as an assistant and work with a senior stylist. And we have classes every Tuesday night. And we get them, you know, we train them to get them to become an expert. So, and we work at their pace. You know, if someone is like really getting it and moving it along, well, you know, we push them along. If someone takes a little bit more time, then we take a little more time with them. But we want them all to be experts, and we have a very specific way of doing things.
And we do give them the tools, you know, we give them the tools to achieve excellence. You know, we do a large, as you know, we do a large outreach as far as, you know, in the community as well as, you know, public relations. You know, a lot of people have this preconceived notion that, you know, gone are the days of, you know, having really to, oh, well, we don't have to pay for advertising. We could just go on Instagram. While that may be somewhat true, it's not entirely true.
Right. I know what I love about you guys is that you're honest. When we did, you know, who started my process, a lot of my followers love the fact that I bring authenticity, and so do you. You explain to them the process. You tell them it's going to take time. You tell them we can get you what you want. It's just here's the honesty. I don't think a lot of people, from what I've been through, from my experience and other people's experiences, salons are really, or stylists are honest. How important is it to be honest with your client?
You know, it's about integrity. It's about your name. So, you know, if we were just here selling services, we wouldn't be here for as long as we are, right?
Right.
So, you know, we're going to take into full consideration the hair. You know, if you're asking for a process that we think will ruin your hair or damage your hair, you know, we're not going to just say, oh yeah, go ahead, let's do it. You know, we'll blow out your hair. When you leave here, you'll look great. Don't worry about it. At least we sold the service. You know, you lose the integrity there. It's all about integrity. So I think, yeah, you know, it is all about making you comfortable and owning what you're about to wear.
Or it was like when I remember when I cut my hair and we said we were going to dye it silver, I'd come to Jamie and to Christian, and you both, you know, you made me feel better and told me how we're going to cut it, and you talked me through it first and told me the risks, and you told me the benefits.
First and foremost, I want to commend you as being one of the first influencers to actually, you know, take that step
Thank
and
you.
cut your hair. I think
Cried.
that that's great. But the thing is as Jamie was saying, the most important thing is you want to get honesty from your stylist, because I'm not going to say to you, you know what, Chanel, sit down, we're going to make you silver blonde, like, you know, your inspiration was Kim Kardashian, and you're going to walk out of here like that.
Right.
You know, it's unrealistic. It's, and you're, like Jamie was saying, it's all about integrity. We care about the condition of your hair, not just the way, because if your hair, I mean, I know it's like kind of like, you know, if you don't look good, we don't look good, like the old Vidal Sassoon saying.
Right.
But it is the
Strong
truth.
statement,
It's
though.
a strong statement, and it's very true. Your hair, if your hair doesn't look right, you're not, you know, I mean, I would rather you have silky blonde hair than walk out with ratty blonde hair, because I was trying to overachieve
Right.
the look that you wanted to, for the sake, you know, sacrifice the
me.
integrity to make you happy.
Exactly.
So in doing so, it's very important, because you're dealing today with a very educated consumer. And a lot of them do their homework. They're on, you know, social, you know, they're on Instagram, they're on Google, and you want to provide them with as much knowledge as they have. So you want to tell them, like, you know, listen, we could get you here, but it is going to take time. We suggest that you do treatments. We want to put them on a regimen so that when they leave the salon, they're following through with it. And, you know, all these different product lines they're spending, you know, a lot of money on more and more. I mean, from the time I started till now, in keeping up with the integrity of your hair. I mean, lightener years ago is so different from what it is today.
Right.
And that's another reason that I wanted to talk about when you were saying about the history of here, is we're all about specializing, and the reason why is because you want to be like all I do all day is color. So when I'm doing color all day, it's like being, you know, you're not going to go to, say, there's like how there's different specialists in plastic surgery. Like, you know, you have plastic surgeons that they only deal from the neck up or the neck down. So you're not going to have someone work on your face that's going to work on your foot. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's something that here we train our staff to be professionals in color and professionals in styling, so that they're able to, you know, direct you into what exactly needs to be done.
Right, and also on that note, like a lot of us say we want something, but for instance, it helps when like I came to Jamie and you and I said, what do you think? And then your feedback helps make the decision, right? So you're not going into it alone and blindly and then blaming everyone else if you didn't get what you wanted afterwards. It's like a happy medium, would you say, Jamie?
Yeah, listen, we got to get to know each other. I got to get to really understand you, understand your personality. It's not just the hair, it's not just your face, it's your personality as well. So the conversation before doing anything is so important, right?
Right.
You need to spend a good 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes with someone before you cut the hair or color the hair, because you got to get to know them. You want to get a feeling, and that's really how you're determining the best look for them. Yeah, of course, there's the styles of today, but whatever that style is, you're going to take a piece of that and you're going to add it to your own look and
Right.
your own personality.
I love that you said, and it's an intimate setting, because a lot of times I've been to, and this is not knocking, I've just been to a lot of hair salons in the city or just in general, and it's in and it's out, and it's making that quick buck. And I think that's what we're all starving for. We need people that care about us and want to guide us the right way, and you guys take the time. Why do you think the two of you specifically, so Jamie for hair styling and cutting, and Christian for hair color, why do you think you're both so popular in each department? Like everyone I see coming and asking for two of you. You're both very booked on a daily basis. How did you get to that point?
Well, I think that it goes hand in hand with what I was saying before. I think that, we pride ourselves in working together as a team. And, we've been very diligent in, basically spreading that message throughout the salon. So in other words, somebody may come in for just a haircut.
Right.
And they'll come and they'll start talking, and nobody really walks out. I shouldn't say nobody walks out of the salon not having haircut or color, but it goes in tandem.
Right.
You don't want that it just makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To me, the color that I'm doing is going to look so much better with a great haircut.
Right, when we had, before I did my whole hair process, we
Yeah.
had gone to Jamie, said, we're thinking of changing it silver. What kind of hairstyle would you do with that color? And should we go through that process?
Exactly. So
I like that you did that,
To answer your question, it's all about yourself and how you come off to your clients. You come off and they develop a relationship the same way that they would develop a relationship with a doctor, or, you start to trust that person and they become your advisor. And that's what really makes them come back, because they feel like this person really cares about me, and we do.
And they
we
get
do,
me.
because believe it or not, they become like an extension of your family.
Yeah, it's like I call you guys the beauty therapists. It's you're in the chair and you're talking about your life, because your physicality goes hand in hand with what goes on a daily basis in your life. So, right? So it's like,
and listen, as time goes on, the relationship between myself and a guest, it gets so extensive. You get to know somebody for a long time, and you get, they open up to you. So that therapist slash
Right.
Yeah.
stylist really does come into play inadvertently. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like anybody's really looking to, be too personal with anybody, but it just happens. It happens. You click with that. You click with that person. We're feel so strongly about making them look good and
Right.
feel good. A lot of times you can't help but develop that relationship where it gets a little personal sometimes.
and it's also like you said, it's inspirational for you
Yeah.
guys as artists to get to know that person very well and know what their needs and their wants and their fears. Like you got to know me more to know what I can pull off, what I can't now, and getting that feedback. On that note, do you ever feel, I guess, when the clients are asking for both of you, but you're only one person and you're booked, do you ever feel it gets in the way that you have to bring them to the other stylist, or because you've trained them, you feel it's just as good?
That's the key. What you just said was the training is the consistency that runs throughout this salon. I'm very confident in the entire staff here. So, me, I don't like to say no. You
Right.
know, I mean, I'm always,
the
you know,
same way.
you know,
Right, we're
neither
all the
than
same
either. So,
way.
but in the case that, you know, it gets to the point where, yeah, someone wants something at that moment and it can't happen, yeah, of course, you know, the staff has been all trained. Like I said, we have a very specific way of doing things, and we have an extremely talented staff. So yes, I am very confident. Even recommending my own clients sometimes, you know, when I'm going
Right.
on vacation, hey, you know, use this person, you know, you'll like them, and at least you'll have us for whenever, you know, if I'm not here, you could always use so and so.
And that's what I love about that attitude. I wish a lot of people can take, we've talked about this off the record, take that attitude, because I think people could be more successful if less egos were involved. Sometimes working as a team and sharing the spotlight can only help benefit you, right?
Yeah, nothing
course.
is worse than nothing is more unprofessional when you work in the same house and you're insulting somebody that's in your home.
That's a
You know what
great-
I mean?
That's a
I really feel
phrase.
very strongly about that because I think that, you know, we're a large family, and that's how like everything, that's what NUBEST stands for. And if I can't give someone else that's working in my, you know, in my department, someone that I've worked on and have the same confidence that that person is going to treat them the same way that I am, and I'm sure you feel the same way, Jamie, then, you know, the salon wouldn't be the size it is, we wouldn't be here today.
I definitely 100% agree, and I think a lot of people, especially the millennial generation in general, can take a lesson from that. Just being a teamwork makes the dream work,
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's very well said.
you know?
Absolutely.
So let's talk about, you guys are also, you're married, you have kids.
Yes.
Christian, you're also like, you have a big
Very
social
single.
life. You're married?
Very single.
Very single like me, ready to mingle. Oh, don't you worry, you're gonna be busy with me, I'll take you out. But you have a big social life.
Yes.
Because you also have ran a magazine, and you guys have things that you do after the salon. How do you guys balance being such a well-rounded human being? Because I find it hard to just balance, you know, getting up in the morning, to be honest.
It's, yeah, well, you know, it's
It's
not
definitely
easy.
not easy.
You know, it's not easy. I mean, you know, we do spend a lot of time here. You know, we do spend a lot of time here. I think, you know, what was important for me is, you know, meeting someone that was understanding of that, you know, and that admired what I was doing, you know, and making sure that you know, when you're with your family, you spend the quality time, right? And now my son is interested in doing this, so, you know, he's here on the
that's awesome.
weekends. You know, he works here on the weekends, helping out. So, you know, and that, again, that was not a forced situation. You know, he came to me and said, you know, I want to do it, and
That's amazing.
I said the same thing to him. My father said to me, just be ready to dedicate 90% of your life to the business.
That's it. I mean, yeah, I remember like my dad, he had a shoe store growing up, and he always made me feel like I had to be in the business. You know, there's some people that don't, and there's some people that did. He thought it was for the best for me, but I never came to him. Like I was kind of trained, and then I found my other passion, which was entertainment. You know, and he helped me out a lot with that stuff too, because he would video me and stuff like that. But it's nice to know. A lot of people have that pre-notion, like, oh, well, they're probably successful because their parents owned it, or they're probably successful because their parents pressured them. But I like that you're saying, no, that's not.
No,
That's not it.
if anything, it was definitely, and I'm sure Jamie would agree, it is very much the opposite.
You guys are
a
going to
lot
them.
is very, you know, a lot more is expected of us because we are, you know, we have a legacy to carry out.
Right.
And, you know, as far as our social lives and like what we do outside of here, you know, for myself, I'm constantly re-educating myself, whether it be with pop culture, seeing what goes on. And I mean, and that's always been my thing. You know, my other passion aside of hair and the beauty industry, which actually, you know what, beauty and fashion go hand in hand.
Right.
So, you know, to me, it's the entire picture from head to toe. And I've always looked to the runways to get inspiration. I've always looked, you know, I'll walk in and out of different stores. I'll familiarize myself with different photographers. And, you know, and that was also something that, believe it or not, was taught by Jamie's father. he is still, a very big, was always very big into photography, and I really took on to that, that love of his, that passion. And he was also very passionate about clothing. And for myself too, I became, I remember I must have been maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 years old, and he saw that I would like to look through Vogue, so he used to every time he would come over and throw me a magazine to look at, or if he would get a new book on photography, like if it was Herb Ritz, or I think I actually remember a time that I think it was something with a book on Herb Ritz where Elizabeth Taylor was in the pool with a parakeet, I think. And I remember he got it and he showed it to me, and I just started looking through it, and that's how I started to familiarize myself with different models' names and different things like that. So those type of influences are really make you who you are. And I know Jamie's the same, because Jamie kind of grew up being surrounded by that on both sides, between his mother and his father.
Well, that's also, that's the thing, is you have to know how to evolve with the times, but be also into researching and knowing what your lane is, being up with the trends, right? I mean, is that something that you feel, even Instagram, when you mentioned, you could put it on Instagram, but you're not getting 10,000 followers or customers in the store or in the bank just because you're posting one thing. So what are your thoughts on all that?
Well, listen, it's about being well-rounded. Like Christian said, it's truly about being well-rounded. I grew up surrounded by a lot of talented people. My father being extremely talented and innovative, and he surrounded himself by around a lot of talented architects, hairdressers, clothing designers, and I had the opportunity to really get to spend some time with these people. There was one particular hairdresser. His name was Louis Alonzo, and he was always at my house, always. And this guy was he was extremely talented. I truly believe my father was inspired by him as well. And he was just always doing little creative things around the house, and just kidding around, playing with my hair, doing, and I always remembered it, and then, it just always inspired me. Then there was a interior designer, his name was Bob Patino, another very talented guy, who was always around. He was the person that was very instrumental in decorating the inside of our house at the time, and I just always remember him being around. So being around all of that, inspires you to really get into this type of world. And I'd say I was very lucky and fortunate because of that.
Also, you've had a lot of celebrity clientele as well. So this salon has become iconic because you've had from NSYNC boy band members coming in when they were at their hype. You've had fitness influencers having over 2.8 million followers. You've had fashion influencers. The list goes on. Any celebrity you've loved working with, or is that a highlight of your day, or is the highlight of your day really just working with the people that come in every day, their friends?
Listen, who wouldn't love to work on a celebrity?
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's great. But for me, it's the people I meet every day. I mean, it's the people you meet every day. They're they're the ones that are, after you do the celebrity's hair, they're the ones coming in, saying what can I do? What can I do? So that's really what's fun.
Actually, I was watching a documentary speaking of self-educating a while back, and Tom Ford has always been one of my, fashion, icons. I've always looked up to him as a fashion designer, and I've always admired his way. And one of the things he said is when he had left Gucci and he went out on his own, he did away with VIP, because to him, everyone was a VIP.
Wow, I love that motto.
And because it's, you know, like Jamie was saying, to Jamie's point, who doesn't want to work on a celebrity? Who wouldn't love, you know, I mean, we all like it, but they themselves too, I think the part that they appreciate about us the most is that we treat them like regular people. You know, a lot of them, I mean, I remember when I first started, I was working with Leland Hirsch, and he was working on Brooke Shields. And she couldn't have been the more down to earth person. I mean, you wouldn't. I completely forgot who she was.
Right.
In talking to her, I mean, like she even I remember it very vividly because like she was eating like a tuna sandwich or something, and like
She would love to hear that now.
She was like
She would love to talk to you with her tuna bread.
She was offering me part of her sandwich, and I'm
Right.
like saying to myself, like to me, it caught me so off guard. Like here's Brooke Shields offering me a part of her, you know, like it's Brooke Shields, like
Right.
you know what I
Right.
mean?
Like I didn't even know she ate. No,
But
I'm
that's
just kidding.
but like
yeah.
you know, but that's just what I'm saying. Like to me, I've found, you know, the more real you are with you, the more real anybody that I've come into contact with that has been famous, and I'm sure you could relate to it because you know, you have a lot of people on your podcast. They want to be treated like everybody else.
Yes, they do.
You know, they don't want to be like, you know, I mean, listen, everybody has like that part of them that wants to be doted on and like, oh my God,
course.
it's so and so. But they also have that aspect of them that wants to be, you know, they just want to come in, get their hair done, you know, like everybody else. And, you know, at the end of the day, the people that we do on a day-to-day basis are really like celebrities to us.
Yeah.
We have our own, you know, celebrities with it.
Well, that's the thing that I love about NUBEST too, is that you guys, it's about equal rights. It's beyond the superficiality, right? So like this podcast is about mental health and going in depth into like, what is it really about? When you go to a store or you go to get your hair done, whatever it is, you, like you said, you want to feel like you have a connection with that person. You want to feel like they care about you. And I think that's the most important. And even with your staff, I mean, you've had staff here for 30 years working, which is incredible. Not a lot of people can tolerate a job for that long, more than a year, 2 years. And I mean, talk to us about the management here. You must be doing a phenomenal job with management and team leadership, because why would someone stick around for so long, right?
Yeah, listen, people seem, you know, they find a home here. When, you know, people, you know, we are a family business. You know, as a family, we put so much time and effort into the business. You know, so being here, you know, it's not just, there's no absentee ownership here. You know, we're here, we're in it with everyone. And I think that goes a long way. You know, I think it
Right.
goes a long way. We've, again, had a lot of opportunities. I mean, you know, going back to, you mentioned Leland Hirsch. We had the opportunity to create two lines. So we were very instrumental in the creation of Artec, which Leland Hirsch was the brainchild behind, along with my father,
Sure.
and which later on went on to be sold to L'Oreal.
Wow.
And then Leland Hirsch is now back with us and creating Gem Lights and the Viral line,
Which-
Celeb Luxury.
I love that. I use that
know.
on my hair every night, every day.
Yeah, it's essential in really keeping your color.
Talk to us, a little bit about like the celeb line and why it's better than most other product lines out there. Also, what I love about NUBEST is you're all about safety and good health as well. By the way, guys, when you're doing your hair, your makeup, there's things you also want to trust your experts, that you're not having all these toxins around you, which I love that you and Christian are very aware as well. So yeah, take us through the product, like why you teamed up with him, what's in the product, why is it good for color and hair?
Well, first of all, you have the Gem Lights line, which is basically, Gem Lights is for more of your like your natural colors, like going from blondes to, you know, auburn to brunettes.
Right.
And then you have your Viral line, which is more of like, you know, your, I would say like your couture colors, if you want to say that. Like, you know, you have your purples, your blues, your pinks. What it does is it's the color wash and even the color conditioner, that it actually replenishes color. So as you wash your hair, you don't really realize, but your hair it oxidizes, so your hair loses color. So
Right.
a lot of times,
Well, it fades, you know.
fades.
It fades.
Especially like what you
That makes
like
sense.
with
We
what
don't
you're
think that way,
saying.
but
Yeah.
it does.
With what you were saying about your color, like even going, more towards the silvery tone, that's something that, after a while, it's going to fade out of your hair. So what better way to keep it up than to have a color conditioner that's going to have the color that you want your hair to be.
Right.
So it's constantly maintaining that color in your hair.
Well, that's important because we don't know that. That's the stuff we need
No.
our experts to teach us.
And a lot of times people, they I feel shy away from certain things because, traditionally like a redhead will be, they oxidize like crazy.
Yeah.
So they'll stay away from that because they're like, oh, I will walk out of the salon and it looks great, but then when, and a week later it's gone,
It's
so
like
now,
too much work for them to upkeep.
yeah, so now you have something that's like, in your arsenal to kind of keep your color going.
Right.
And that was the beauty. That was the beauty of the one of the reasons for, I believe, for also recreating this. This line was that there's a kind of like a void
Yeah.
that needed to be filled because once L'Oreal had purchased our tech and texture line, they kind of, started to do away with it, and people were constantly asking us, like, what's going on? What happened?
Well, the reality, going back to, hair color fading, right? So think about it. You leave the salon, there's a couple of things here. So first of all, you can mix and match the colors. So you could create a personalized color for you.
Did not know that, but thank you for sharing that. Yep.
So that's number one. And number two, so you leave the salon, your color starts to fade. Now you have a prescription of shampoo that you can wash your hair with that's going to keep your color fresh from visit to visit. Now, what's great about that? All right, so you're going to come in with regrowth, but if you really think about it, that's all you have to do.
Right.
Right? You don't have to pull the color through the ends, going back to integrity of the hair, right? So it's,
I like how you said prescription. It's true. You got to prescribe what the doc prescribes,
Right.
whoever that doc is, because it's instead of mixing, matching, and not knowing, oh, I'm going to try this line today because that other line didn't work.
Right. And so your color is, it makes total sense to have this type of shampoo. And everybody should really have it who does color,
Oh, I
period,
love
end of
it.
story.
I love
mean,
it.
It's going to maintain your color. The only thing it's not going to do is cover your roots. But you know what? Or cover the regrowth. I shouldn't say roots. We will use roots. Regrowth is the word. But regardless, you're going to come back with fresh color. Just really going to have to do your regrowth, the ends, and you won't have to pull the color through the ends. So.
And then you can maintain actual silver like someone
Right.
like me, where I'm not constantly driving myself or you guys crazy about, because like you said, you have to wash it. You're not gonna stay silver for your whole life. Like when I had purple in my hair, it washed out because I didn't know how to maintain it. I didn't understand it. I literally thought I could walk out of the salon with purple hair and it would stick for 6 months.
But the only way that would stay is if you had a color conditioner or a color wash. That's the only. There's no other way that color, unless you didn't wash your hair.
Right. Right.
And even then, with the sun and everything like that, it's still going to oxidize to some degree. So that's the only way you'll be able to maintain that color.
I want to talk a little bit about and transition about wigs. So we all know we've kept up with the Kardashians, or trying to. At least they're a lot of my inspiration. They're a lot of younger women or older women's inspiration. Talk to us about how it's a wig process a lot of times, what these celebrities are using. It's not them dyeing their hair that day and tomorrow they're on camera. So kind of take us through that, Christian, about also wigs and then I'll have Jamie add on, cutting the wig and maintaining the wig. Again, it's kind of like doing your whole hair. You just stop damaging it.
It's funny because one of my fellow stylists used colorist rather, she used a terminology once, hair color is not like nail polish. You can't just take it off and put another color on. It's not that easy. If it was that easy, then hey, it would
Everyone
be great.
would be doing it, yeah.
But the thing is with a lot of celebrities, with what people don't realize is they have their own, glam squad, or as they like to call it, and they, forget extensions, wigs, things have come so far along, and a lot of times the things that you see, if I want to be mint green for for Paris Fashion Week, I could just get my stylist to get me a great wig, and I could just wear that wig
Right.
for the whole, for all of Fashion Week, and then you'll be photographed everywhere with mint green hair, and then you have the people coming in and saying, oh, I want mint green hair like her. And that's part of what you were saying in the beginning, when they come to us, and then we have to tell them the truth.
Right, because not everyone is telling or has the time, the
to tell-
truth on camera.
Well,
It's a
I don't
2-minute
think that
segment.
it's that they don't want to tell them
Right,
the
they
truth.
just don't have
It's
the time.
It's just some people, it's like anything else. Some people don't want to necessarily hear the truth. They want it, and they want it now.
Yeah.
So someone would have to really ask them anyway. No one's
Yeah.
going to say, is that a wig on your head? I mean, someone
Yeah.
might,
Right.
but
No, but
you know
a
what I
lot
mean.
of
If
people-
if they did, maybe they might. I don't know.
I didn't even know it was a wig, and I've been watching them.
But I
I've seen
find-
them in person.
Actually, I did see an episode. I want to say that they were either, I don't know if they were in India or Japan, and they were telling Kim to cut a piece of her hair, and she's
Right.
like, it's a wig.
Right, yes.
So there you go.
So she-
Or it's like when you guys told me when I had my hair brown, chocolate brown first before we transitioned, which was also beautiful. It was, you advised me to keep it that way, silky, and just go with wigs, because I'm a type of person that's in the public eye all the time. I need to change myself constantly, that it would make more sense, it'd be more safe. So these are things that people need to also know. That's what I like, that you're educating them.
Well, I mean, listen, everybody likes to reinvent themselves. I mean, I won't say most people, like yourself, like to reinvent themselves. And, so what better way to do it than, invest in a really good, wig
Right.
that you're able to put, to go out for the night, or, be seen someplace. And believe me, it's just as new to us as it is to you, because, wigs were, years ago, like in
know.
the 60s.
And they
it's
weren't
like
even cool in the
everything-
90s or the 2000s.
Yeah,
So-
like you wore a wig. It was like, oh,
And
you're
it
wearing
goes
a
back-
wig,
Yeah, literally lately, you're right. It has become bigger and trendier. I
Yeah.
think a lot of the Kardashian sisters have made a lot of these trends. Do you agree? Or do you think it's like all around Hollywood?
Well, I mean, I definitely think that they have I mean, let's face it, they definitely have a large influence in pop culture. I mean, they're constantly being talked about. They've made a tremendous, business out of influencing people.
Amazing what they've done.
Yeah, I mean, they've
Yeah.
become billionaires
Right.
over, and, but it's, like I said, it's up to us to really kind of take and after a while, I find you also, sometimes may not always be the best thing to follow
Right.
what everyone
One is
else
doing.
is doing.
It's a full-time job, correct me if I'm wrong, right? Because you guys are here every day, you're doing it with people all the time. A lot of viewerships, a lot of listeners are saying, they just have to wake up and they don't work and this is ridiculous. Oh, so they're in their chair with the glam team. But we all know that today, or any other day when I'm going to an appearance and I have to glam up, it's work on your end, it's work on my end. So how do you feel about those comments, Jamie?
Well, look, it would definitely be, I'm sure, nice if everybody had someone
Yeah.
to come and do their hair, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, at the same time, it still takes a lot of work to get someone's hair right, to get the makeup right, to get the look right. Listen, it's fun for everyone, but yeah, of course it's work, of course
Right.
it's work,
Yeah,
It
for sure.
definitely, I mean, it takes a lot of time and a lot of planning. You have to plan what you want your look to be. It's like we even had discussed
Yep.
with you about, a constant evolving of where your look is going.
Yeah, and sometimes it's phone calls and we talk about it. And I think people, it's funny, the other day someone said to me, oh, you're going to NUBEST, so you must have like the greatest life. You're just always getting your hair and makeup done. And I'm like, yeah, but it's work and it's a job, not only on their end, it's a job on my end. And meaning,
Well,
because
you're here to you're looking to inspire people, right?
Correct.
So all of that is very important. It's important that your look is right.
Right.
That's what you're doing right now. You're looking to inspire people. You're looking to educate people. You're very curious. You want information and you want to share it. So all of that is important. So whether you want to call it work or not, it is to some degree a job, but a passion of yours.
that was
Right.
nicely put. It's true.
Right.
It's not about is it a job or not. It's
Right.
just about passion.
Right. This is something that you love. You're inspired by it. You're very good at it. And with that, listen, we don't want to sit here on camera, right, and
Right.
not try to look our best. I
Best,
mean,
yeah.
we
Right.
want to, listen, we're all regular people at the end of the day,
Yeah.
and we don't want to transcend ourselves as anything different.
Right.
But if we're here to talk about trends or talk about and try to share what we have, and why not look our best?
Exactly.
Why not look our best?
Do you feel like, so award season, right? Award season is big now. We had the SAG Awards last night, the Golden Globes, the Oscars are coming, the Grammys. What do you both anticipate in terms of, each of you could talk about like hair color and style and makeup look? Because to me, it's been very bland. Talk to me about what you see and what are the trends you're seeing now. Because we also, by the way, NUBEST, Jamie was on Good Day New York as well, and you could check out that segment once you swipe up, but that was awesome too. You talked about the short bobs, my kind of bob, how many, whether you're overweight, underweight, whatever weight you are in your face, you can rock it, different type of color, different type of girls from different ethnicities were on the show to rock the bob. So talk, and Reese Witherspoon's rocking the bob, Charlize Theron's rocking the short hair, Renee Zellweger is rocking the short hair. So talk to us about, and the blonde, talk to us about where the trends are.
Well, I think that for a long time, people were keeping their hair very long. And what people weren't realizing is that when you have long hair, it doesn't, look, it's a look. But short hair is just as much of a look. And it's about confidence. Like you were saying, different weights and sizes.
Yeah.
It's just different shapes and sizes. And really that's what it's all about today.
Yep.
Is embracing yourself.
Yes.
So, you should also, be able to embrace your self-confidence. And I think a lot of times, when you cut somebody's hair, and, Jamie could probably attest to this more than I can, I just see it on the other end, you start to notice that all of a sudden the high cheekbones come out, the jawline, you start to accentuate and play up all those features that you've been hiding under this long hair for so long. And a lot of people use long hair as like a security blanket to some degree.
Yeah, like a lot of people are like, I can't pull off what you pulled off. But I agree with you both that it's personality and you can. It's just insecurity. Like when I was, we all know I did Princesses of Long Island back in the day on Bravo. And I had long hair and I was iconic for it and I was known for it for years because, that was my best feature. I had very beautiful thick hair and I tried to play with it. And then I realized I wanted to evolve. I wanted to be someone new. I think we all want to be someone new sometimes. We don't want to be typecasted in life. We don't want to be typecasted in our industries, right? We want to always feel like we have the creative freedom to do whatever we want. So I mean, and look, it could be on trend now. It can not be on trend next year, and it might still be good for me. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, that's really where I would say hair and looks have gone. I think it does stray a little bit away from one specific style anymore. I mean, yeah, the bob is very hot. It's all different lengths. But again, going back to the person's personality, it's really all what looks best on them. I mean, not everybody is going. You're just straying away from that specific, if you want to go all the way back to Farrah Fawcett, if you want to go to Jennifer Aniston, like those, I feel like it's strayed away from that. People are more about owning themselves. So therefore, the trend in hair is going to dictate that, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're going to end up creating a look for that particular person. So I think that's why we've gotten away from any specific style. Yeah, you still see people wearing
Yeah, you do.
long hair down
Long
here.
hair.
You know what I mean? You still see it.
And even Kim Kardashian, she brought back the bob now, but the bob was done in the 90s and with
Well,
Kate Moss,
everything-
she had the long hair, but then she changed it to the bob, right? And
Well,
the color.
one thing that you have to remember is it's always a pendulum swinging back and forth. Everything old is new again. And, what happens, especially in fashion and in hair, if you're you're around it long enough, you see things come back. They never come back quite the same. They're always a revision of what was. They come back in more of an elevated way. And I think, to what Jamie was saying, and I completely agree with that, I think, especially what's going on right now in social consciousness with women feeling more empowered, they're feeling like, they're more about what's going on inside, so they're not so concerned that they have to be, this a stereotypical. I mean, although personally speaking, I think that there's a certain level of sophistication and sexiness,
Right.
in a woman, but I mean that could be taken in any way. You know what I'm saying? But I think that. Being that women today are much more about being empowered, you're seeing a lot more shorter hair, as we saw with, Charlize Theron, who has cut her hair short before, but I think they're kind of trying to, I think we're kind of in a crossroads right now where we don't know exactly
Where
it's going.
Yeah, because for me even, it is an inside thing. So recently, a lot of my friends were like, I'm concerned because a lot of times when people transition like you and evolve, and when I say transition, I mean more like, your look and just keeping up a cool hairstyle, it's like they think you're going through a lot or something. And for me, it's not about that. It's really, I'm finally, like you're saying, able to own who I am authentically. I'm able to communicate that, express it, and not care what people think anymore. So if I feel like if Jamie or Samantha, I'm just using random names, or Joe Schmo says, you know what, I like your haircut, Chanel, but you're not at the weight you need to be for it. Well, guess what? It's not about that. It's about being at this weight, rocking this hair, still looking good, still feeling good.
And you want to know something? Because you're owning that.
And being real about it, right?
And being real about it, that's really what people are noticing.
Because I was the most insecure when I was the society prettiest back when I was on Princesses, long hair, thin. I was miserable. I was psychotic. I was mental.
Hungry.
Hungry all the time internally. But there's this sense of freedom when I'm like, you know what? Take me as I am. Evolve with me as I am.
Take the pressure off. Right?
Yeah.
Take the pressure off.
Because how else are you going to look and feel confident if you're always constantly pressured, right?
Right. Yeah, just let it go. Let it go, and and enjoy yourself, and enjoy the fact that you have the ability to, listen. That's what's great about hair, right? It's your best accessory. So enjoy the fact that you have the ability to change it in many different ways and rock it, like you said. And again, the confidence came out of you when you were talking about it, right?
Yeah.
And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier is, like the haircut all depends on whether the person is really, ready to do it, right? And feeling good about it. Yeah, I'm ready to do this. I want to do it. Then that haircut's for you,
Right.
And you just saw it come out of you and the way you explained it,
Yeah.
So.
I felt confident that I had you two, who I know are experienced and experts, and not just experts, celebrity experts, to come and say, listen, Chanel, I think you can pull it off. I get where you're coming from. I get where you came from. I know where you're going. Here's our feedback. We're going to make it happen, and we're going to make it happen as we go. And even sometimes I'll text you, I'll call Christian, and we'll talk, and we'll, you'll be there to like talk me off the ledge. Sometimes you need that. I just think you need that in order if you want to do it. All my listeners ask me, I want to do it. How do you do it? This is how I'm doing it. You need the right team. You need a supportive team, and you know.
Right. And yeah, that's, again, finding the stylist that you, connect with.
Right.
And then you make it happen.
Any celebrity that you guys haven't done yet that you want to do? Each of you.
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, I've been, it's a funny thing because I often think about that, and I always, my biggest thing with celebrities is, I do have some of them that I admire, and I always feel like if I met them and they were like rude or nasty, that would like change my whole perspective.
Right, it's that saying, be careful when you meet your
Yeah,
hero.
like, you know what I
'cause
mean?
They might
Like,
not turn out to be what you want.
Like I wouldn't want to, for them to, I mean, of course, there's various, to me, I really, more so than celebrities, there's a lot of like models that I
Right.
would have liked to have been
Anyone
able to work on.
specifically?
Well, I think of like, Cindy Crawford. I think of
Bradley
Kate.
Cooper's ex-girlfriend's, what is it?
Oh, Irina Shayk.
Yeah,
She's
Shankin, or I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, but Irina, yeah, she's gorgeous, she's beautiful.
I mean,
What do we
my
think
all-time-
about that, Lady Gaga and her, how different they are? Because there's rumors, there's recent rumors that he left her to be with Lady Gaga at the end of it, like we're gonna see them coming out together as a couple, but talk about two different looks, right? I mean,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
two different girls.
But you see that all the time. Would you
Yeah.
ever think that Gwen Stefani would be with
Blake Shelton?
Blake Shelton?
Right.
I mean, from who she was married to prior.
But it's even funny to say, like, you two said, like, I would do, like, Irina, like, I want to do someone, like, sophisticated and classic, and then there's also, like, a Lady Gaga or, like, someone like me who's out there and wants to take different risks. So it's just interesting how, like, you can keep it.
Like Lady Gaga, I think that, it's a given that she's, likes to take risks. As like Madonna's whole career has been about, shock value, reinventing herself. The same as, Lady Gaga has been more into, I would say, this shock value portion of everything, kind of getting the attention from the different, from the audience. Whether it be, with a specific costume, hair color. And I think what I liked about last year with what she was doing in promoting the movie, not the woman, the movie, is that she went to that like old Hollywood glamorous look.
Yes.
And I think she did look really beautiful. I really appreciated it and thought that she really carried it very well.
Yep.
And to what you're saying about the whole Bradley Cooper thing, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about it because, she's stressed so much about how it was all an act.
Right, which is a lot of them do that, and then it ends up being where their spouses leave them or they leave their spouses and then they actually come together and it's more, publicity stunt. But what do you think, Jamie, in terms of like how she can be classically beautiful, but then the shock value, yes, that does get you a lot of fame.
Well, it brought her name to us, Lady Gaga. That's what brought her name to us. She, early on in her career, mastered that, and now, listen, she backed it up too. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
her voice is awesome. She's
Right.
a great entertainer. She's a great person. You know what I mean? She obviously, is an inspiration to a lot of people. But there was a lot to be said with what she did in the beginning. But I think now she's like definitely just kind of come into her own, is very comfortable with the business she's in, very comfortable with what she's doing, and now she's taking chances in different ways, which I like.
love that,
I think she's a true talent. I do.
Yeah,
I really do.
I think that she's reached the level where she doesn't have to be so shocking anymore.
Right.
Right.
Like she's letting her talent do the talking.
Right.
which I feel that at some point, I commend her for it, because at some point you got to let I mean, she's got a great voice. She's a tremendous musician, and you just kind of got to, thrive on that. Your image has been like embedded in our head.
Right, now it's time to
Now
be
it's
okay,
time
simple
to
and,
be-
and sophisticated.
No more meat dresses.
Right.
Yeah, and she has the luxury that she's able to do that. Some people, all they are is their look.
Right. So how do we achieve a happy medium to like get the right attention, but also not, because what if you could do all these looks and you don't get anywhere?
Well, not everybody's, obviously not everybody's not in the entertainment industry.
that's
So if you're in
true.
the entertainment industry, you have to get noticed, right? You have to get noticed, and you have to,
It's the name of the game.
that's the name of the game, right? And I mean, there are some people, that are obviously a little bit more talented than others, but you got to get yourself out there. So it's for the everyday person, you don't have to do that, right? You just have to
Right.
be yourself. And if
Right.
you want to make a little bit of a statement, so you change it, so you change your hair, you wear your clothes a little differently, you change your clothes, change your look, wear a different pair of sneakers, whatever it may be. Social media has put that pressure on a lot of people, and I think the younger generation of today needs to be very careful of that.
Yep.
Okay, because social media puts the pressure of show business on the youth of today.
Right, amen. That was
Okay.
beautifully said.
So
It makes you feel like you have to be a celebrity when
right.
it's
But you-
okay to be regular.
right,
know?
right. But you've got to be okay with being you, and that's the message that these celebrities should be trying to push forward for these young kids, to make them understand that what we do, we're doing to entertain you. What you guys, whatever it is that you may do in your life, it's okay, but you don't have to. Your every day-to-day being doesn't have to be a show.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a show.
That's important. That's an important
That's
message.
a very good, yeah. And I think that also too, a lot of, it's part of the generational thing, not to sound old-fashioned, but it's kind of like, we don't, you don't have to be good at everything. It's okay.
I'm happy you're saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
You don't
okay,
have to be,
right,
It's
not-
okay. You don't
Yeah.
have to be good at everything. You don't have to. I think a lot of times people get so caught up, like as Jamie was saying, in what they see, that they feel that they have to be the image of perfection.
And
So-
like right then and there too.
right
It's
then
like
and
they
there,
don't feel like,
and it's okay to just, and I think that with, to your point, Jamie, what's going on right now and what we're starting to see, especially with women and men, because I have to say, men
Yes.
have really stepped it up as far as, like, these award shows, they're really putting themselves together more. It's not just the black tuxedo.
right.
They're experimenting.
They are, even with hairstyles, they're experimenting.
Yeah, they're experimenting. So, you're seeing it's okay to be who you are.
I love that.
And it's the truth. It's so, your inner, I think the more accepting that the world becomes, that there's, different types of people out there.
Right.
And that we're all unique and special in our own way, the better a place it'll be.
I love that. Speaking of fashion, you guys have a great fashion sense. So talk to us about what you're wearing today and also every day. Like, you both look great. You always look put together. So what goes behind the style for you, Jamie?
Oh, God, I don't know. I just looked in my closet and threw on a pair of jeans. I said, I like
Damn.
that jacket.
You
And,
put it
you know,
together very
sneakers
well.
are my thing. I love,
Yeah,
I love
you
all the
always
new
wear cool
sneakers. I
sneakers.
love all the new sneakers that are out there
Yeah.
today. I like to throw that. I like to throw those sneakers on there and make a little bit of a statement with my sneakers.
Sure, and it's obviously important, right, to look good in front of a client and put
Yeah.
together, because they're looking at you, like you said, as the walking billboard. They're not going to trust you if, not that you have to look perfect every day, but just put together.
But you know what? I have to be totally honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, that's what happened today as far as getting dressed, and that's what I think people need to be confident in. Like, I just was like looking, I was like, yeah, I like that that gray jacket. This was a suit jacket that I wear, like, I've worn to a wedding.
you wore it
This is an old
confidently.
Etro shirt that I had,
Looks
that
new.
I said, I love it with the gray. And then I had these new sneakers, that I like, that a little, like, have a million different colors on it, but it all kind of goes together, right?
Yeah.
So,
Those are the
It's about
Travis
how you
Scott.
feel.
Yeah.
That's
So-
the message of the story.
Those are
the Travis Scott. Yeah.
Travis Scott.
I
Oh,
mean,
these
they
are
usually
Travis
have
Scott
this
sneakers?
thing on the
Yeah,
top
Travis
of
Scott
They
sneakers.
usually have this thing on the top of
He's
them, but
being very modest
I don't
in
rock
saying
'em.
that they're not.
Oh yeah,
like,
you need to be say yeah. This
that
is,
they're
this
limited
is pop culture
edition
podcast.
Travis Scott.
This is like Yeezys.
sneakers.
I
But-
haven't
yeah.
seen them
Yeah.
out yet. That's pretty cool.
So
And then Christian, you're wearing.
well, what for me, I'm a little bit. I follow fashion very closely,
yeah.
and that's become my thing.
right.
I'm very into accessories these days. I mean, I love accessories. I have come across this, well, I shouldn't say I've come across, I've been introduced to this jewelry designer by the name of Robert Keith, and he has, his jewelry line is called Horse and Booze, and it's just such, it's like wearable art.
You're wearing it right now.
I'm
right?
wearing it right now. I
love
have it
it.
on both my fingers. I have it on my. It's like, the whole thing about it is they have their classic things, but they so much want you to be a part of the process.
Right.
And that's what, for me, that's how I feel in my day-to-day. Like, I want my clients to be a part of the process. So I love the fact that they feel that way about their jewelry.
Right.
So I very much relate to that. Like, I could get on the, listen, you can't get on the phone with every designer and tell them how you would like your pants cut. But with them, I could get on the phone and say, listen, I love the way that you did this ring. How about a few more of this? How about a few more of that? And they're very open to it, and they're very down-to-earth guys, and, they just keep growing, and, they keep growing and growing.
And it's great because accessories, you could wear all black and throw on a red jacket, and the
Yeah.
accessories speak for itself. Like, it's all also
Just
about
have
being
fun
comfortable.
with it, right? Yeah,
having
just have fun. Having
yeah.
fun with it. It's
You're right. We have to
you
have
know,
fun with it.
yeah, have fun. You take chances. All right,
And you become synonymous for
right.
certain things. Like,
Yeah.
you could say, like, Jamie with Jamie and his sneakers, and Christian and the jewelry. And actually, people do remember things like that. Like, somebody once did call up, and one of the coordinators said, there's a guy, he always has great jewelry on. I would love to have my haircut color done with him.
Oh wow! You see, wow, that's the point of the messaging. So you see, you never know. You got to always
Yeah.
And
feel
you-
authentic and embrace yourself with
Right.
whatever you're wearing.
And then own your own thing. Like for me, I like to be casual. I like to be as casual, but get a little dressed. You know what I mean?
Me
That's
too,
always
that's
been
it.
my thing. I love jeans and a t-shirt too. You know what I mean?
And you can still look good in it.
Right? Yeah, of course.
and make it look good.
Right, and then, of course, then, listen, there's someone who really would like to put a suit on and really, have, perfect leather shoes or whatever, maybe, but that's all good too.
Right.
But it's about finding what you're comfortable with, right? And it's the same thing with hair. Going back to hair, right? It's about finding what you're comfortable
And it's
with.
always, when it comes to clothing and it comes to fashion and hair, it's the person. It's all about, comes back to the person. It's the person that's wearing the clothes. It's the person that's wearing the, the style, the cut, the color. It all goes back to, it's you are wearing it. It's
Right.
not that it's wearing you.
I love that.
And that's so important for people to understand, because a lot of times I think people have a preconceived notion
Sure.
that, like, I could wear, there are people that wear head-to-toe designer and they look atrocious.
Right. That exactly. And
Look,
there's
look,
people
looks
who
like
wear
it looks
a whole outfit from
overdone,
H&M.
It could look
Right.
overdone.
Or vintage that's all black, and you're
Right.
like, oh, she's plain, but she's wearing it really well, and her glam looks great, her hair looks
Yeah,
great.
it's about the personality that you breathe into what you're wearing. Like you just said, you could be wearing, I believe in an eclectic mix of things. You could take, an expensive jacket and throw it on with, like Zara pants and pair of Bottega boots, or, and just that.
For
being
me,
said,
yeah. For me, like, I sometimes like to wear all black or like just comfortable, and I trust within NUBEST really to do my glam, because that's my accessory for me. For someone like me, I feel like that's what works for me, you know, just like jewelry works for you, a blazer works for you. My glam is really what makes me the confident about my clothing. That's why I always tell my mom.
You
like,
have fun with that.
Yeah, I could wear anything. It doesn't matter. Once you see my glam, you're gonna think I'm a whole different person.
Well, also too, it's what you're saying. What going back to what you were saying too, is that when you put something on, you have to have. We feel like like for myself, like during the day, I wear a black suit jacket, and you know, people will say to me, "Oh, where are you going? You going to a wedding? You have a funeral after here?" And I'm like, "No, I actually just wanted to wear a black jacket because there's for me." And for me, a jacket I just feel polished. You know, there's something very polished, and I feel like when you look a certain way, it affects your whole overall personality and how you're going to oversee. You command a certain attention, good, bad, or indifferent.
Agreed.
So, but whatever it is, you have to own it. That's another thing.
Before we wrap up, so 2 more questions, but then we'll wrap up. Chanel in the City, restaurants, what are the hottest spots? Long Island, New York City, where do you guys like to go, hang out, eat, chill?
Wow.
Good recommendation for us.
For Long Island?
Both Long Island and New York City?
Long Island, I mean, right here in Manhasset, I mean, it's just, you know, you have your pick of so many, you know.
So incredible.
Toku, you got Cipollini, you got Bryan and Cooper, you got Lamani, you got, you know, there's all the great places here, you know.
Yeah. Like I'd leave the city to go, well, you know, here for the food.
And I still like to go to Mr. Chow's.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
The best. When I can afford it, yes, Mr. Chow's is amazing.
I
There's nothing
still like
Mr.
to go to
Chow's.
Mr. Chow's.
Yeah.
I do, I really do.
You
know.
always see the
Yeah.
most. I had the couple of times that I've eaten in Mr. Chow's, I always see the most interesting people. Like I think once I saw actually Manolo Blahnik there, and believe it or not, I don't know if it's safe to say, but it was my 26th birthday, and I was actually having dinner next to Matt Lauer and his wife.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
That's
like
really
it's
cool.
always, you know, it's people watching.
Yeah, right. Like that's what I Chanel and City. That's what it's about, really. The restaurants is about the experience, celebrity spotting, because a lot of times you'll get to see the celebrities at these places. And yeah, Mr. Chow's is a big celebrity site.
I was sat at the bar with Elton John.
What?
Yeah.
What? That's so cool. Was he nice?
Yeah, well, it was odd because I was faced this way, and he was faced the other way, so our backs were to each other. And I was with my wife and another couple, and I kind of stepped back a little bit, and we, you know, kind of bumped backs, and it turned around to say excuse me, and it was Elton John.
That is so. That's really cool.
You know, so I was like, hey, Elton, how you doing? And he was nice. He said hello, and
Yeah.
that was it. You know, that was the end of it. But it was just pretty cool.
That's
that he was
awesome.
there. Yeah.
What is your advice or tips to people who want to make it in the beauty and entertainment and fashion and hospitality industry to be successful?
You know, listen, first of all, in order to be successful, whatever you're going to do, you know, should not necessarily be so much work to do it, right? You know, it should be inside. You got to have a passion to do it. And then whatever it is that you commit to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, commit to it. Don't do anything halfway, you know? Put your all into it. Be willing to dedicate your 100% of your time to it in the beginning. Don't say no in the right situations, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, if you're there to do something, do it. You know, always be the person that steps up to the plate and says, I'm ready to do this. Yes, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. And be that person in the beginning of your career. And guaranteed you'll be noticed then, and you'll get to where you have to be.
Love that. What about you, Christian?
And I say, to Jamie's point, I say, you want to, an important thing is to stay humble. You always want to stay humble. You don't want to become too big for your bridges. You know, it's okay to get accolades, but let people tell you. Don't tell them. You know what I mean? I think
that.
a lot of times people they get drunk with success.
Yeah, that's a good way
And
to put it.
they get drunk with success, and it's it's like a casualty of becoming successful. But you have to try, and dedication is definitely another important thing. You have to be dedicated and know that where your bread and butter is.
Right.
And a lot of people, I feel, unfortunately, lose sight of that.
Right.
Better roll up your sleeves.
Yeah.
Roll up your sleeves, get dirty.
You know.
Get not when I say dirty, I mean get your hands into
Yeah,
the job. You're
you
never
know,
too big or too little
That's
for it.
right. That's how you're going to get noticed in whatever you choose to do. When I say noticed, I mean in the sense of, most of us are not going to start out as business owners, right?
Right.
So we're going to start out working for someone.
Right.
So, if someone asks you to sweep this floor, you ask them, which other one else can I sweep too, and
Yeah.
I don't, and whatever that may be, whatever the job requires, if they're saying that, we're going to stay open a little later, you'd be the one to say, I'll stay, I'll stay later and I'll do it,
That goes a long way.
Tremendous.
And we really don't ask people to do anything that we wouldn't ourselves do.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
I mean, on any given day, like, you might see, Jamie picking up, cups off the floor, or, I'll think nothing of getting into the sink if, we're a little shorthanded.
Yeah.
It's just, it's part of, that's part of being humble. You can't be too big or to do anything, because, we have been very fortunate that we had somebody that established this has established this and kind of got it to a certain level, and it's really been up to us to take it to the next level, and that's what we are striving to do.
And I think that's why everybody does love you and trust in you, because you don't feel, you're bigger than this customer or that, and whoever spends less or more. You treat everyone really equal, and that's the thing that we have to bring back to society in every type of industry, is equal rights and just treating everyone the same, because that's how you're going to look your best, you're going to feel your best. There's no magic formula, you can't tell somebody. You also can't change somebody's personality too. You can make them look as beautiful as they want, but if it's not there and they don't want to come full circle to do it, you're right, it's not going to work. Those are the answers.
And like you said, everything is an inside job. You could help the person to change the outside, but there's other people that could help them change the inside.
Right.
And if the person is really, it's like yourself. You could give you advice and you follow it very diligently and you run with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you could really ask for.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and then there's some people that, it's just, you give them the right tools and they don't know exactly what to do with it.
Yeah. Well, I love this. I mean, I could talk to you guys for
Yeah,
hours.
for hours.
We will be back, though, with Jamie and Christian. We're going to do something, consistently, where we're going to bring them on the podcast as experts to talk about certain, celebrity, pop culture, lifestyle. I know my audience wants to hear more from you guys, and I know they want to hear more information. And I want to thank you guys for believing in me, for taking the chance. And one sec. It's not the Golden Globes. I'm not giving my speech yet. But I do want to thank you for believing in me and seeing the future and taking the time and the effort and just loving me unconditionally as a peer and a customer and an influencer, and just, that's what you guys need. You need the support from the glam team and experts. And thank you. And that's why I hope to.
Thank you. And we thank you for entrusting in us and allowing us to help to cultivate, take your vision and help it use our vision with yours, because that takes a lot too. And, we thank you for entrusting in us, and we want to see you achieve the goals that you want to achieve as much as you want to see us the same.
Of course. Where can everyone follow you guys? On Instagram, and, like your personals and the NUBEST Instagram.
I'm Jamie NUBEST.
Okay.
I'm Christian XX Christian.
And then the NUBEST account
And
is
the NUBEST is NUBEST Salon.
Yeah, NUBEST Salon.
at NUBEST Salon. Make sure you follow Christian and Jamie at NUBEST Salon. Make sure you swipe up. All the Chanel in the City listeners are getting 10% off their first purchases if they swipe up right now and you listen to the whole podcast through. I'm sure you can do it. It's very interesting. And we'll see you next time.